We're getting closer to the start of the 2024 season, and I think you're all going to enjoy this video. We're going to be talking about some of the biggest and most memorable moments from Formula 1 in 2023. Starting off with, we're going to talk about Fernando Alonso. He had some mega drives this season, obviously helped by the car provided by Aston Martin. But as we know, from the start of the season, they caused a mega stir. He showed that he meant absolute business early on in the season, creating stunning wheel-to-wheel moments with Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, even times with Sergio Perez and the Red Bulls up front. And he ended the opening race with a podium. He had a thrilling battle during that Bahrain GP with Lewis Hamilton. It lasted around a lap before he got past onto the hardest corner. It's one of the corners where you don't really expect to see overtakes at turn 10. But that was brilliant. The Aston Martin man then continued the season's form and went on to collect 6 podiums in the first 8 races. Unfortunately though, Aston Martin failed to keep up their development, and that meant that he only collected 2 podiums in the final 9 races. And to be honest, is he going to be able to do it again next season? Given the car, I think the answer is yes. If you're enjoying this video and all my latest content, please make sure to hit that subscribe button as it really helps the channel. Next up on the list is Australia. What a race, what an occasion. Multiple safety cars, a virtual safety car. I think there was 3 red flags on the race. And oh my God, it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. Alex Albon hit the barrier. Kevin Magnussen hit the barrier. Carlos Sainz and Alonso collided. Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon collided into the wall. Logan Sargent, Nick de Vries had a smash. The race was it was an all-timer for drama, in my opinion. It was an absolute all-timer. Never get more drama than that. Next up, we're going to talk about Esteban Ocon's Monaco masterclass. Ocon secured Alpine's first podium since the 2021 season after a bit of an eventful race. He had a collision with Carlos Sainz earlier in the race, and the whole thing that happened was there was a shower of rain which put loads of drivers, ended up hitting the barrier. Tyres were all over the show, and it was the first French driver to end up on the podium in 1966. It remains his only podium of the year in 2023, but his next best result was in Las Vegas, and there's a long way to go in his career. Could we see him on the top step of the podium in the future? Probably not in an Alpine, but maybe if he moves teams. Well, we all know about track limits. An absolute ridiculous race happened in the Austrian GP last season. There was, in qualifying, there was 47 lap times deleted, and in the rate and during the race as well, there were over 1,000 instances of cars leaving the track during the race. In the end, multiple drivers were given time penalties during and after the race, meaning that almost half of the grid and 3 of the top 10 dropped places. For me, the most memorable moment of all was Lewis Hamilton ending his pole drought in his Mercedes at Hungary. It was his longest spell without a pole position since 2007, and he was only 0.003 of a second better than Max Verstappen. Although, in the end, it didn't really matter because he went on to have, I think he finished 4th in the end. It was quite a poor race at Hungary after a struggling start. But it gave him his 9th pole position at the track, giving him the outright record for pole positions at a single track, which that was a record previously held by Ayrton Senna and Michael Schumacher. Senna had 8 in Imola and Schumacher had 8 in Suzuka, whereas Hamilton has 9 at Hungary. Obviously, you can't talk about 2023 without talking about Max Verstappen. He was untouchable in a very, very dominant Red Bull car, broke the record for win streaks, and he won pretty much every race. I think there was only 3 that he didn't win. If you don't include the sprint races, because that would make it 4 because of Piastri's win. But it was an impeccable season for Red Bull and for Max Verstappen, and he was absolutely untouchable. Next up on the list was Oscar Piastri's sprint win. Although he had a really strong rookie season, he was outscored by his teammate by just under 100 points. But there is one thing that Oscar has that Lando doesn't, and that is a victory. Sprint race or not, a victory is a victory. He'd run really well in sprint races throughout the season, especially in Belgium where he finished second. And then in Qatar, with all the tyre troubles, Oscar Piastri took the victory at Qatar. He went on to take second in the main race as well. But obviously, he wasn't able to match that throughout the end of the season. And will he get more podiums in the future? Absolutely. A huge situation to talk about was the AlphaTauri seat. I believe they had 4 different drivers throughout the season. They had Yuki Tsunoda, Nick De Vries, Liam Lawson and Daniel Ricciardo. And obviously, I think it's massive that we talk about Lawson's performances. He is the memorable one for me. He made some excellent performances. He even knocked Max Verstappen out of Q2 in Singapore. He was absolutely incredible during his time in the AlphaTauri, and he'll be looking to get himself a future F1 seat at AlphaTauri or Red Bull. Obviously, we can't talk about Liam Lawson and Singapore without talking about the battle for the win. It was the first race in the entire season, really, where there was a proper battle for the win. With Verstappen and Sergio Perez miles away due to a poor qualifying, it left Sainz, Norris, Russell, Hamilton and Leclerc as the top 5 drivers and battling for that win. Leclerc obviously gave up his race to help Carlos Sainz, but Carlos Sainz managed the race brilliantly to keep Norris in DRS range to stop Hamilton and Russell being able to overtake. Obviously, Russell ended up in the barrier, but that's a race that none of us will want to forget anytime soon. And the last one we're going to talk about was the Las Vegas GP. It was in danger early on of being remembered for all the wrong reasons. You had all the disruption in the build-up to the race. You had Verstappen complaining. The track was damaged only about 10 minutes into the first practice session. But in the end, it turned out to be an excellent race filled with drama and penalties. Max Verstappen pushed Charles Leclerc off track and got himself a penalty. He also crashed into Russell, but he raced to victory with a damaged front wing. Norris had a very, very dramatic crash right in front of Lewis Hamilton, and Leclerc passed Sergio Perez on the final lap to take second, stopping a Red Bull 1-2 finish. But what an excellent race it was, and what an up and down season. It wasn't very exciting. There wasn't many moments of competition, but it was a good season. The Red Bulls take all the praise. But let me know down below your most memorable moments of the 2023 season as we look forward to the 24 season in about a month's time now. Keep your eyes peeled on my channel for my predictions video. That will be coming out very, very soon. And I'll catch you in my next video. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.